Welcome back to the podcast, Catch It, A New Perception. My name is Ketuk. Thinking about something in particular that is difficult in this lifetime. And it has been difficult. It doesn't mean it will be difficult moving forward. Some things that I've heard and some things that I've experienced. If you get a chance, please give this a thumbs up. Thanks for sharing it with the people that you do, and thanks for the thumbs up. And any comments that you might have, tell me where you heard about the podcast, who told you about it, where you heard it. Did you just find it online? Just drop something in the comment and let me know where you heard of us first. And thinking about some things that are difficult in this lifetime. And one of them that I have found is that there's three things that are hard to say. One of them is, I need help. One of them is, I was wrong. And the third thing that's really hard to say is Worcestershire. Or Worcestershire? I still don't know how to say it, so it's still difficult for me to say. Asking for help is not easy. Saying I'm wrong is not easy. Saying I was wrong, I did wrong. I need to be able to learn how to get honest about these things. And I know the third one is kind of a joke, and I struggle to pronounce that word. The idea of learning something new through saying I was wrong. How can I learn something new? How can I get to know my higher self by saying I was wrong? I'm under the impression that one of the ways is understanding that when I admit that I am wrong, I was wrong, I did something wrong, and I admit that to myself first, to first realize I can't go and admit that to someone else or say it to someone else, I was wrong, until I can come to an understanding of what that means to me. And it may not be necessarily apologizing to someone else. It may just be admitting to myself, I could have done that different. I could have made a different approach. I didn't need to say it like that. That timing wasn't the best. After what I just heard, I probably shouldn't have said anything. That's admitting I'm wrong right there. Realizing I could have done better. I could have made a different approach. Or I probably shouldn't have said that when we were there. The timing thing matters. And it's been hard in this lifetime to admit that I'm wrong, even to myself. I want to believe, oh, well, I just wasn't wrong. I just maybe wasn't right, is the way I would look at it at first. Or I could admit to myself, but not admit to somebody else, I could have said that differently. And sometimes it needs to be said to someone else. Sometimes it does not. Sometimes it's more about being able to just realize that I have a situation in my life and I could have made a better approach. And then the next time I see them, I make a different approach. And maybe I realize that the first approach worked as well as this. Or I could realize that it is much better to make a second approach and do things differently and realize I was wrong about what the timing I had. I was wrong in many different ways. How many ways can I admit that I'm wrong to be able to get to know my higher self? How many ways can I admit that I'm wrong? And then at that point, the beautiful part is, as soon as I admit to myself I was wrong, I'm right. I like being right. I like being happy. I like being joyful. I like being content. Laughter is nice. Contentment is even better. I want to live with joy in my heart, not necessarily laugh all day. And like I said, laughter is good. It's healthy. So when I laugh at people, is that healthy or is that wrong? Can I admit I was wrong because we had fun at someone else's expense? Fun? I don't know what that is. I don't know that I could live that way today. I know at one time when I was much younger, I did. I would laugh at people's expense. I remember telling people sarcasm is as polite as I can be. And I meant it, and I believed it, because I didn't know how to do things better. When I believed that sarcasm is as polite as I could be, I was wrong. When I was sarcastic with you, I was wrong. When I used sarcasm as humor and not everyone found it funny, I was wrong. I jokingly say, well, when I admit that I'm wrong, now I'm right, and I like being right. And on the other hand, is it really a joke? I do like the fact that I can do things that are not harmful to people and that I benefit from, because I don't have to sit and think, was that okay? Could I have said that better? Was I wrong the way that I said it? For me, it's all worth really taking a good look at. And how do I admit that I'm wrong? How do I say that I'm wrong? When do I need to talk about it? Or how do I need to talk about it? And I say that because I talk about asking for help also being difficult. It's hard to say, I need help. Some people don't think anything of it. Oh, I need help moving. You want to help move? I could use some help. When it comes to things like that, what about the matters of the heart? When it comes for asking for help, am I capable of saying, I'm hurting and I need help? My dad passed and I need someone to talk to. I need some help. I don't know who else to say this to. Those types of asking for help, they could look very different from one time to another. What's it mean to ask for help? And is it that difficult today? Do you have to use those types of words? I know I don't. I could ask for help without using that terminology. Does that make it easier asking for help? No matter what it is, sit down and start a conversation with somebody and tell them how I'm feeling, how I'm thinking, and I need to be able to see this different. It's a way of asking for help without using that terminology. Is that easier than walking up to someone and saying, I need your help, can we have a conversation? I'm kind of turned inside out. I'm emotionally caught up in it. My head doesn't stop spinning. I'm swimming in this. I don't know how to get out of it. Can you help? Sometimes just having a conversation with somebody like that helps. Just saying, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to face this. Asking for help is not as difficult as it once was in a lot of ways. Do you ever get to a point in your life where you want to ask for help, but you think you're beyond that? Someone my age shouldn't be asking for help like this. Oh, after what I've been through and I've gotten so much help from these people, I don't think I should ask them for help when it comes to this. Whatever this is. And the way that I see it is, I think it's worth asking for help with whatever it is, especially if it's psychological. If you're all turned inside out inside your head and you can't see straight, or if it's emotional and you need the balance, are you willing to ask for help and say, I need some help with this because I don't know how to see it different. I want to feel different about it. Can you help me to have a different way of thinking about it so that I feel different? Do you have an action that I can take that would allow me to think different? Can you help with this? Do you have any suggestions? And sometimes asking somebody for a suggestion or asking them for an idea on how to face something, how to see something different, how to deal with someone, whatever that might be. You know, there's this really difficult person at work and I have a hard time dealing with them. And how do I do this? How do I find a way to be able to talk to them in a constructive manner? They don't take criticism well, and I don't really have much optimistic things to talk about. Can you help me find the right words to be able to say this? I think it's important. As difficult as it might be to say I was wrong, as difficult as it might be to say I need help. Now, for different people, one may be able to say I need help and not a problem, but can't say I'm wrong. The other one says, well, it's easy to say I'm wrong. I just don't know how to ask for help. There are just certain things that happen. You know, another one that might be difficult for some people is I'm sorry. There are other people that'll say they're sorry just walking by you, thinking nothing of it. Just use that terminology. I found that I didn't use that terminology much before I got to know my higher self or before I began this journey to get to know my higher self. I didn't use the words, I'm sorry. I was cold, rather calculated, and I didn't use those words at all. If you thought I owed you an apology, then you could be somewhere else. You don't need to be in my presence. I won't be in your presence. You don't need to be in mine. Very simple math. There will be no apology. Have a good day. So when I learned how to say that, I'm throwing this in as another idea that might be difficult for some people to say is, I'm sorry. I was wrong. I need help. Whatever it is. With I'm sorry, I think it's important that I'm able to see it in a way that's constructive. I believe if I'm going to use those words, I need to feel sorrow, and if not, then I'm lying. So there's no point in it. So I need to be able to feel sorrow, and I need to believe that I'm doing everything in my power to not do this again. And the reason that that's important to me is because I don't want to come back and say, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry for the same thing over and over. Kind of like walking up to somebody and say, well, you know, I was wrong when I said this like this, and then come back and say that same thing the next time I see them. Or in the same fashion, you know, my approach wasn't the best. Yes, I really needed to say that. I was wrong in the way that I said it. And then come back and say it in the same way again in the future. That's a problem. If I want to get to know my higher self and I want to begin to feel different and think different, I need to be able to take accountability for where I'm at and what it is I'm doing, the actions that I'm taking, the words that I'm using, the terminology that I'm using, and how I make this approach. It all should matter to me. I should have a consciousness that I'm going to do things different moving forward. And I believe that I do. I believe that I am conscious, I'm aware, and I will continue to the best of my ability to be able to say, I'm sorry, I was wrong, I need help. And Worcestershire, I don't know. I say that because it's a struggle to say it. And the other ones once were a struggle to say. Not using that terminology of I was wrong, I need help, or I'm sorry. It wasn't terminology I used. So it was difficult for me to begin to say. And I'm glad that there are elders that came before me that gave me ideas on how to say each one of them. When necessary, where appropriate. And moving forward, I hope I'm able to continue to say I'm sorry when I feel sorrow. I was wrong when I know I will do everything in my power to not do it again. Or I need help. Good health, good help, and good understanding to you. Looking forward to next time. Live in harmony with and use the bounty of the land to bring kindness to the world. Dok Shao, okay?